We track a number of economic indices every single day. We wrap them up every week, and we're now giving you an overview of what they've shown for the week that ended on April 5th. Good news, first of all, our Consumer Mood Index continues to get more positive. This is the fourth week in a row that it has become more positive, and in fact, the index value this past week was as positive as we have seen it going all the way back to mid-February of 2008. Just by a few points, but technically, consumers in America today overall have a more positive mood about the economy in well over a year. Second, standard of living. This is up as well, not quite as dramatically as our overall economic index, but for the third week in a row, Americans are a little more positive about their current standard of living and the direction in which their standard of living is going. And there is a modified piece of good news when we look at our Consumer Spending Index. This is where we ask Americans, how much money did you spend yesterday? And for the second week in a row, that amount, which is still fairly low overall, is up. In other words, we're seeing a slight uptick in the amount of money that Americans tell us they're spending. And that's the real key, because as we've talked about before, it's one thing for Americans' attitudes to become more positive. It's another for their actual behavior to change, for Americans actually to spend. And of course, that's what the economy really depends on. One final bit of information is not good news, any way you want to look at it, and that's our net new hiring index, where we ask working Americans if the company where they work is hiring or firing. That's now at a -8. In other words, more workers telling us their company is firing than hiring. And in fact, that's actually down by a few points from where it has been. So we're not seeing any sign yet in our numbers that America's workers are sensing that their companies are turning the corner and beginning to hire rather than let go workers. All in all, though, I would still say last week, that is through April 5th, it was a good one. Attitudes improving. We're going to have to keep monitoring these behavioral indices to see if, in fact, all of that positivity in terms of attitudes translates into real consumer behavior. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Editor-in-Chief of the Gallup Poll.